first want to say how happy I am that the Catholic University, the John Paul II Catholic University in Lublin, has established a center. It's a Center for Catholic-Jewish Relations, and it's not limited to Poland or the United States or Israel, so nor to this present day, but has a historical perspective as well. First, I wanted to just point out that Jews and Catholics have both been subjected to misunderstanding and sometimes terrible accusations. So historians have told us, for example, that in antiquity, pagans accused Christians of practicing cannibalism, that the Eucharist was cannibalism. There have been accusations against Catholics also in Germany in the middle of the 19th century. There's a very fine book by Michael Gross about that. Terrible accusations about financial misconduct, about sexual abominations, all kinds of awful things. And something similar accusations against Jews as well. So I think one of the issues, and I say this also as someone from the United States, is the rising feeling in the United States of anti-Semitism, and that's not only feeling but also attacks, and also anti-Catholicism. So let's begin, I think, with an alliance. That is, we know that there have been accusations that are unfounded. We both need to clarify who we are, what we stand for, and work together against the false accusations. It seems to me that, in fact, we enhance one another's religiosity, one another's faith. And that was my father's message. Yes, we have said bad things to one another over the centuries, but let's not focus on that right now. Let's also think about the things we have done to help one another. The ways in which, for example, when Jews live in an area where Christians are pious, Jews are also pious. The piety, the atmosphere, the spiritual atmosphere affects all of us. It creates an environment in which we can all flourish religiously. In our different faiths, in our different practices, we deepen one another's experience. And that was my father's message. So my feeling is that the Heschel Center in Lublin at the university should have three main goals. One is scholarship, another is teaching, and the third is creating a new atmosphere. So scholarship. I've already spoken to the rector, Professor Kalinowski, Father Kalinowski, and also to Professor Vrubel, and suggested names of wonderful scholars from Israel, from Europe, from the United States, who could come to Lublin and engage in discussion with the professors here at the university and hold workshops, conferences, lectures, symposia. That would be wonderful. And I think that discussing Catholic-Jewish relations in Lublin would produce something different from a discussion held, let's say, in the United States or in Germany. It's different here. So that atmosphere and the fact of being at this important university named for Pope John Paul II, that would be very important. Let's see how the atmosphere in this place would produce different approaches, for example, and ask different questions too. Teaching, so classes that can be offered to the students, and there are many ways to do this. So we've talked, for example, since the pandemic, we use now Zoom much more often. We can have classes together. We can bring students together for conversation from other countries, for example. That would be very nice. Perhaps the students here can also attend lectures or classes in other countries on different topics. That would be nice. Maybe they can also do some research projects together as students in Poland, together with students in Germany, for instance, or in France, or in England. That would be another suggestion that I have. And then finally, what really is perhaps most important in this moment is the atmosphere. So I know everyone right now, everywhere, is feeling a lot of tension. There are terrible political threats, polarization, a lot of anger. There are people on the right wing and people on the left wing who are angry and adamant about their position, not so much interested in talking and compromising and conversation. I think we need to change the atmosphere. And to me, that's one of the most important things that a religious community can accomplish, to transform the atmosphere, to transform the mood. I think we know this when we go, for example, I'm sure you experience too, if I go to a synagogue or if you go to a church, you come out feeling different from when you went in. It's to be transformed through prayer. And I think interreligious dialogue can also be a form of prayer. And that's what we should try to achieve. And so my hope would be that the Heschel Center would create a different kind of atmosphere, that it would be an experience like going to church or synagogue, that our hearts and souls, as well as our minds, will be engaged, and a new spirit can be created. That's my hope.